Things aren't looking good for a Kamala Harris administration, as already 92% of her staff have had a turnover since Biden was elected in 2020. What does the future look like for a Harris administration? Well, we're talking about this and so much more here on Beyond the Headlines, only on Vigilant News. This segment is sponsored by My Patriot Supply, providing emergency meal kits to American patriots at preparewithvnn.com. I'm Elijah Schaefer. Let's start the show. Well, we already knew things weren't looking good for a Kamala Harris regime, but Breitbart reports that VP Harris has already had a 92% turnover in staffing since she was pushed into office. Elected, as they might say. Let's get into this. The office of Vice President Kamala Harris experienced a turnover rate higher than 90% across the past 3 years. A watchdog report published Monday detailed a continuation of a staff attrition rate that has followed her since even before the Biden administration officially assumed power. Open the Books, a watchdog organization that reports on government expenditure, found some 91.5% of her staff headed for the exit since she was sworn in. The report stated the straight facts of the departure numbers. Elected November 2020, Harris took the oath of office in January 2021, and as of March 31st, only 4 of the initial 47 staffers from the first year are still employed, consistently and without interruption by the vice president. Furthermore, the turnover chaos isn't getting better. In the trailing 12-month period, 24 staffers left. That's almost half the employees. The findings came a day after the vice president launched her campaign for the White House, during which she pledged to unite the Democratic Party. This is not the first time dysfunction has been highlighted amongst the Harris team. The top-to-bottom dysfunction, The Atlantic referenced October 2023, is shown in reported payrolls Open the Books captured. In her first year and a half as vice president, she saw a departure of that. Kamala Harris is facing another staffing shakeup as the internal friction has plagued her office for months. So it is kind of ironic that Kamala Harris is going to unite the country, bring us all together, and make sure that we get back on track. Hello? We did it, Joe. We did it. Remember that? And you wonder why Kamala Harris has had staffing shakeups? Well, look no further than her recent discussions on what she does when she faces a problem. She looks at Venn diagrams. Remember this?
Remember Venn diagrams, those 3 circles? Right. And then let's just see where they overlap. You will not be surprised because I have constructed a Venn diagram on this. Remember those 3 circles, how they overlap? I love Venn diagrams. So I just do. Whenever you're dealing with conflict, pull out a Venn diagram, right? And so, the 3 circles. The television coverage of just yesterday, that's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened, but just limited to what we have seen. For us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been,
6 former administration officials last week wrote that open letter urging the administration to change course, to change strategy. Is it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
Our Supreme Court is on the line. Our basic freedoms are being tested, Madam VP. I know you've been traveling across the country. What are you hearing?
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji. There is so much at stake in this moment. The majority of us believe in freedom and equality. But these extremists, as they say, they're not like us.
They not.
I've never seen anything more fake and lame in my entire life. Realistically speaking, I don't know who the audience is in this type of measure, right? Who are they trying to attract? I guess it's the black vote. It's for black people maybe, where they're trying to push her out as not an Indian, but a woman of color, so she courts the minority vote. But, Kamala Harris, I don't even know if she's loyal to herself. Could anybody really stand up and say they want to serve in a Harris administration? I don't even think anyone really voted for them. I personally don't even believe they won the election in 2020. So it's to no chagrin that this is where we're at. Now, I want to remind you that, these are the people that are supposedly running the country. And there's more about this because a recent report came in from Red State that damaging details leak about Harris and some of Kamala's problems and what Biden really thinks about her. This just released. But obviously, we don't really have a good selection here. We either have Joe Biden, who's alive as of today, or we have Kamala Harris. So remember, you've got to prepare for the unthinkable with emergency meal kits from My Patriot Supply. These emergency meal kits are going off the shelves right now. People are filling up their carts. These 1 week food kits have over 2,000 calories a day. You get $50 off when you go to my website, preparewithvnn.com. But the best part is they last up to 25 years because they're stored in a rugged ammo can. So it's really, really, really useful and versatile. These meal kits last pretty much forever. As long as you'll be alive the next decades, you'll probably have to use them. I hope you don't, but they're delicious, nutritious, and they have great food variety. If you've thought about stocking up on guns, maybe you've thought about, getting a gas mask. What about food? Don't be left high and dry when the hits the fan. Go to preparewithvnn.com, PREPAREWITH, VNN.com. Get $50 off their 1 week meal kits today at preparewithvnn.com. Now, as I mentioned, Red State Explained, here's what they had to say. We've now gotten to the point where it looks like Kamala Harris might be the Democrat nominee for president, despite not even getting a single vote in the primary for that position. As some are saying, it's a selection rather than an election, and an end run around democracy from the party that likes to pretend they are the saviors of democracy. The ironic karma of it all, as I wrote about on Monday, is that after all, Kamala's poll numbers are still behind former President Donald Trump, at least so far, and she's just as unpopular, if not more so, than Joe Biden. She's already directly not only to all the bad policies and that were put in place, but to her own failure to actually do things like help deal with the border, one of her new charges from Biden. She, of course, has all her own issues of being seen as a lightweight cackler who speaks in word salads. On top of that, there's even more damning information that's being leaked about her allegedly from the Biden aides, according to a new report. Axios said 3 aides dished that Biden had hesitated in dropping out because he was concerned Kamala wasn't up to taking on Trump. Some of the elites, like Barack Obama, did not immediately endorse her when he dropped out, perhaps having the same concerns or perhaps thinking of other candidates. Then there was more. Harris's time as vice president has been occasionally rocky, defined in part by large staff turnover, retreating from politically risky responsibilities, and mocking from some Beltway insiders. Much of Harris's staff has turned over in the past 3.5 years. About half of the vice president's staff is paid by the Senate, which requires regular disclosures. Of the 47 Harris staffers listed in 2021, only 5 still worked for her of this spring, according to the disclosures. Ouch. And it's apparently because of the way she treats her staff. So I don't think she's really up to the challenge, and I don't think the Democrat Party is even relying on a fair and free election. I don't think they really care anymore. They're just going to do whatever they're going to do, and I mean, if we had a fair and free election, I know Trump would win, but I don't really know if that's where we're at today. Let me know in the comments what you think. Give me your feedback below, and if you want to receive more of these videos, subscribe to our X and to our Rumble channels at Vigilant News. You can also get our newsletter at vigilantnews.com. I'm Elijah Schaefer. Have a great rest of the week, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.